Hello, and welcome back to Two Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura. On tonight's episode, I want to make it very clear that this is not a folk tale. This is not something that I've heard, read about, saw in a movie or whatever. This is actually, in fact, happened to myself in the city of King City, California. But let me start from the beginning of what how this all came about. I guess in a sense, give you a little bit of backstory. As a kid, my parents had family friends and a couple. There were a couple. They had no kids and stuff, and they would come over to the house and just spend time. And they were really good friends with my parents and so on and so forth. And I really don't recall. I mean, I vaguely remember, meeting them as a child, but I can't really, really remember that much. But then later on in my teens, that's when they started to come around a lot, quite a bit, after that. So my time with them is really more during my teens and so on and so forth. This couple just, I can make it into, hold on, look, I can make it into two parts, but I'm going to make it into one. Okay, just bear with me on this. This couple, later on I want to say in the 90s, in the early 90s, late 80s, I want to say early 90s, somewhere around there, they went through a divorce, a very bad divorce. There was they had bought a home. They had no children though; they were already up in age, and they had bought their first home, and there was a lot of infidelity going on. I really don't want to get into all that, but I mean, just to give you guys paint a picture of what happened, which was pretty much an irony of the situation. The gentleman was in poor health. The wife had to take care of him. But again, there was infidelity. Uh, they argued about who was going to keep the house. There was already somebody else in the picture. The wife had somebody else already, in a sense, seen them on the side. Uh, the gentleman, her husband, actually ended up passing away. Uh, and I believe, yeah, no, this was already in the 90s. He ends up passing away. This lady now, well, she has a house. She ended up keeping the house. I mean, her husband passed, so her new gentleman moves in, and, she had a new car, a new house, uh, tile floor and stuff like that. That was, she upgraded a lot. And so she had somebody else with her. We never got involved in any of their, whatever decisions they made. It was, that was their deal, not ours. So we kind of, just stepped aside and respected whatever the situation was. It was none of our business. We still remain friends, and so on and so forth. Uh, Unfortunately, a little bit after that, the lady became ill herself into a terminal illness, and ended up passing away. And in the end, I mean, her, you know, her guy on the side, if you will, ended up keeping the the car, the house, and everything. I mean, hey, Uh, that's the short version of it, in a nutshell. But let me get to the actual story of what I want to. That gives you a backstory of who these people were or whatnot, and that we were close to that family or to that couple. The gentleman had, again, when my dad passed, in between, this was after my dad's passing, that all this happened. So we're talking 98, 99, somewhere around there when all that transpired. But the lady ended up passing away in 2006. So what happened was I went to we went to the service. We went to her service. She passed away, and my my aunt on my dad's side, my mother, God rest her soul, they've already passed since as well. My nephew and my son. My son he was still small. He was still I think he was like 3.5 or something like that. And no, he was like 4, yeah, 3.5, 4 years old, something like that. Yeah. So, anyways, um, sorry, I had to do a little math there, but anyhow, um, so we showed up to the service, and they had an open casket. Uh, she died of a terminal illness, and in the to the side of the casket, like to the feet area, but more to the front of the to the feet of the casket, they had a picture of the lady and she was wearing a red sweater, and I always admired that photo because it caught who she was, how she really looked. It caught like a natural, like a real photogenic picture of her. You know what I mean? It was a nice picture. So I've always admired that picture, and I was like, oh, all right, yeah, that's a nice picture. I've always liked that picture. You know, cool, for lack of a better word. When we showed up to the service, we saw it, and I could see it from where I was sitting. I was kind of close to the front, and well, we were kind of close to the front. Not I, just we, my family, and myself. And my mother, God rest her soul, she says, "Hey, why don't you go buy some flowers?" And I'm like, "Flowers where?" Like, I was like, where am I going to go buy flowers? She goes, "Go buy, I don't care, just buy a little pot of flowers. I don't care, bring something." I said, "Okay, fine." So I grabbed my nephew, I grabbed my son, and I said, "Hey, guys," I told my nephew, "Hey, let's go to the store real quick." We went, got some flowers. I got a little pot of flowers and stuff, and I mean, took them. And unbeknownst to me, that the lady, one of the lady's best friends, who was also a friend of ours and has since passed as well, she says, "No, no, no, no." She goes, "No, we're not having flowers." She took the flowers from me and stuck them by her feet, and yeah, that was the end of that mission. But anyhow, so when I sat back down, I looked over to the picture again, and I noticed that they had changed the picture, and I was like, "What the heck?" Like, okay, and I could see now she's wearing white, and I'm like, "Okay." Well, I didn't think much of it. I said, "But she never showed us that picture, and I, but again, I still didn't think nothing of it, and I wasn't close enough yet." And I said, "It looks pretty nice from here." So, uh, TMI, guys, I'll just tell you, I had to use the restroom. So I had to walk past the casket and past the picture, and then go around the back to a wall. Like, there was a little hallway behind the casket. There was a hallway, actually. There was a wall, but there was a little hallway behind there. And I don't really get creeped out with that kind of stuff. I mean, I understand death is To me, anyhow, it's a natural thing that happens. But some reason I got creeped out. I was like, what the heck? Like, this is weird. I'm walking right behind the wall. The service is going on the other side of that wall. There's a door to my right, which is obviously the embalming room. And then the bathroom is a little bit up the ways to the right as well. Okay, fine. I go in there, handle my business, wash my hands, I walk out. I'm kind of creeped out. I'm walking back now, and I'm kind of zipping through, guys. I'm like, I'm really trying to get out of there. But before I bend that corner to go up to where the service is being held, I slow down and I'm trying to be calm and cool and collective. Like, hey, all right, I'm coming back, and to not be rude and cross just across from the viewing. I stopped and I walked up to the picture. So now I'm viewing it and I'm looking at the picture and I thought to myself, first thing that came to my mind was glamour shots. Like, okay, this is from glamour, old school glamour shot photo. Like, okay, yeah. In the previous picture, in the one with the red sweater, she had her left hand on her elbow and her right hand up to her chin. In this picture, however, she's wearing white. She had some long sleeve gloves, some satin long sleeve gloves, with the lace at the end of the glove, almost by the elbow, and she had a white, like, knitted kind of sweater kind of deal, but it was all white, and a Zorro type hat, but all white, like a very clean white. And she was tipping it. And, I even looked at it and I saw the stitching on the lace of the gloves. And I was like, wow. And then the look on her face was, like saying, hey, goodbye, kind of like tipping it like, hey, And I thought to myself, wow, this is like so appropriate. Like, this fits the moment. Like, she never told us about this picture, and I'm standing right up in front of it. Uh, I, I saw the stitching on the lace. I saw the little shine on the satin on the glove. The hat had the band, a white, like a silky band, a little bit with the little bow on the side, but it's a straight, Zorro hat, but white. And a very clean white. And I'm thinking, okay, wow, this is pretty neat, So I go back and sit down now. I work my way back and I sit down and I'm sitting down. My son starts acting up, and I said, well, and mind you, my son's 19 now, so that was that was in 2006. So I'm like, okay, I told my nephew, you know what, let's just go outside, bro. And let's take my son with me because, so he can run around a little bit and play outside. I think I had to got him a toy or something, so let him play outside, let him burn off some energy so we can come back in and before the service starts. So we're outside the mortuary, and, my son's running around, and we're just sitting outside, just like, and then people were coming in. Some people I knew, through them, older people, obviously, they were much older. And then some people was just there, like, oh, they just spark up a conversation. We're just outside, we're just chilling for a while. And, I can't remember how much time, but it was a while. It was a while we were outside, because we were there really early. And, so, after a while, they said, hey, the service is about to start. Can you guys, everybody can come in and we get the service started. So, we went back in. I sit down and I'm listening to the people, to the service going on and stuff like that, right? And I happened to look over to the picture and I said, oh man, they put the picture back, the one in the red. And I said, man, why'd they do that? I'm thinking in my head, now I'm thinking in my head, like, why'd they do that? Like, that was a cool, the other one was a lot more appropriate for what it is. Now I'm thinking this in my head as stuff is going on. I'm not even paying attention anymore. I'm just thinking like they should have left the other picture. It was more appropriate, looked more, it fit, you know. Uh, so we just sat there and the service ended. They said come back in a week. That was a Friday. They said come back in a week and well, step up to the casket now and get your viewing and uh, say your goodbyes or whatnot because in a week we're gonna have her. We're gonna meet at the cemetery, but she's gonna be cremated. So we go about our business and go pay our respects or whatnot. And we left. Said and my mom got restless. So she said, "Hey, we got to come back." I said, "I understand, Mom. I understand. We'll come back." So a week later, we show up to the cemetery and met there. I think it was at 1 o'clock or something like that. So we meet there. There's already people there. We park and get off and we're meet up at the cemetery. My mom at the time she was already elderly, but I mean she could walk and she used a walker herself. But I think I took her to a wheelchair or something. But so I could move her around a lot easier. And then in the middle of the service, she's like, "Can you hand me the ashes? The urn and stuff." So, we asked permission. They said yes. And they, handed her the ashes. My mom said her goodbyes again and handed back the ashes. They set it back down to where they were going to be buried. So, we go through that hard moment for the family and the close friends that, this is what's going on. Now, she's being buried with her first husband, who was also cremated, and they're buried in the same plot. So, her new, I guess her boyfriend, we'll call him, her boyfriend was, now again, he had the house now, he had the new car, he kept everything. He says his eulogy or whatnot, and, okay, fine. So, as people gather and we start talking, with other people. Again, there's a little bit, a lot older people than myself, for example. You know what I mean? So I was talking to these people, and they're like, "Hey, how have you been?" And yada yada yada. And it's good to see you. And I'm the same, the same going back and forth with these people and stuff. Because I had also worked with them before, so at another job, but anyhow, so we're about to leave, and the lady's best friend, again that has already passed since, God rest her soul. She comes up and she says, "Hey, Fred, bring some carnitas, right?" And I'm like, to the house. And I'm like, okay, I mean, fine. That's not, it's not. I mean, usually it comes out of the people to bring whatever they wish to bring, But she specifically was requesting these carnitas. She goes, "Oh, the best ones in town, and please bring that stuff and all the fittings or whatnot." I said, okay, fine, don't worry about it. So we just, excuse me. So we gather everything, we gather our stuff and get back into the truck that I used to drive at the time. And all of us get back into my truck and we drive off. And I go to this place where she said they had the best carnitas in town and whatever. I bought a ton of food and everything that came with it, to take to the house, to the family where they had a gathering. That's where they had the I guess, what do you call it, reception or the celebration of life, I guess you, whatever. Yeah, I don't even know what they call it nowadays. But anyhow, that's what they had it at the house. So I take the food, and I parked this big old Suburban I had, and my mom says, "Hey, just get off and go take the food. We're not getting off." And I'm like, "What? Like, what do you mean we're not gonna get off?" But she's like, "No, no, just go take them the food, and let's go home." I said, "All right, cool." So I go knock on the door, or ring the doorbell, whatever, and the gentleman comes out. The the lady who passed, her boyfriend, comes out, and he says, "Hey, I said, oh, I brought this food, just wanted to let you know." He says, "Hey, man, where's your mom?" I go, "She's in the truck across the street." He goes, "Oh, no, 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 you have to come in." And these are Spanish speaking people, right? And he says, "Oh, no, no, no." He goes, "You have to come in. You need to come in. I can't, no, I'm not going to accept this. You got to come in." So I said, "Okay, look, man, take the food. I'll be right back." He takes the food, and he stands out there looking. He's standing out there looking at me, and I go across the street and I tell her, "Look, he wants us to come in, at least for just for a little while." She says, "Okay, look, let's go for about 30 minutes, and then we'll go home." I said, "Okay, cool, fine." So I help my mama out. I get her out. I think we'd rather walk instead of doing the wheelchair thing. So we go in the house, and we sit down, and we're just kind of kicking it, and listening to everybody talk, and people are there. Everybody's talking different stuff. Good times and memories and so on and so forth. And they said, "Hey, you want to come over and eat?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I guess. I mean," and let me tell you, those carnitas were pretty bomb. Those carnitas were pretty bomb. I was like, "Oh man, this is hey, yeah, these are good." So okay, cool. So we ate, and I didn't want to, be disrespectful. We don't hit and run. Like, I wasn't raised that way. You don't eat and then take off. So I went and sat myself on the couch, away from the table a little bit. I could still see the table. Excuse me. So now I'm sitting on the couch and against the wall, and people are still, talking about good times and when they used to work here or whatever. All these memories that go on. So where I'm sitting at on the couch, uh, behind me, there's a bunch of pictures hanging, and the one where she's wearing red is hanging there, behind me. So I'm sitting down, after I ate, and I'm just kind of like, kind of just chilling, and my family, we had already ate. We're just kind of just chilling and talking and conversating with other people and so on and so forth. And the the lady who passed, her best friend, comes up and says, "Hey, Fred, we went to your house like 2 weeks ago, and she really wanted to see you guys. She wanted to see you guys, but you guys weren't home." She goes, so she went, we went in the cul-de-sac, and then as we came out, she kind of slowed down by your house, and she was really disappointed that she didn't get to see you guys. I'm like, "Oh man, why didn't I didn't know that." I was like, "Oh wow, yeah." Unfortunately, I forgot we had gone somewhere. So I took that into consideration. I was like, "Wow, that's sad." I mean, you know, it meant something. It means something to us. And so I'm just sitting there now. I mean, my family's sitting across from me. I'm sitting on the other couch, and we're facing each other, and there's people talking and so on. So it keeps going and going. And all of a sudden, this one gentleman by the table, uh, by the dinner table, he says, "Hey, you know what? Hold up, everybody, hold up." And he's the kind of guy, I guess everybody, stops and listens to him. He says, "Hold on, I got one thing to say." And I'm going to say it in English. It probably doesn't translate as doesn't translate well, but this is what happened. He says, I got one thing to say. Uh, Everybody here, we're all having a good time. Everybody's talking about good memories and stuff. And this is good. He goes, but I'm going to tell you all one thing. He goes, that picture over there, and he points right over my head, right, to the picture in red. And he says, that picture right there is cursed. So I'm looking at him, right, and I look over my shoulder, like, what the heck? Like, and then a lady starts saying, no, I thought it was a reflection of the flowers, of some flowers that they had in front of the picture. And the other lady says, I thought it was a reflection of the lights. And another one says, I thought it was a reflection of the candles, but she was wearing white, you know, and she had a hat, and I'm sitting there going, okay, what the heck? And they start to kind of, they start to argue, and they're going at it in Spanish, right? And I understand Spanish. Hablo las dos idiomas. So I said, hey, and I just said I speak both languages. Anyhow, for those that don't understand, and I said, I tell them in Spanish, I go, hey, hold up real quick. I go, hold on, guys. I go, I don't mean to get into your conversation. I go, but nobody changed the picture last week? And the lady points at me and she said, he saw it too. And I'm like, what the heck? They go, what did you say? I go, yeah, she was wearing a hat. She was tipping it. Yeah, see? And da da da. And they start going. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, what the heck is going on, guys? Like, we come to find out that picture does not exist. And I was sitting there going, okay, I'm still feeling like, okay, when's the punchline coming? When's the punchline coming? But there is no punchline. That picture does not exist. So, yeah, I mean, I just kind of like, and then then it all came back like from what her best friend had told us or had told me that she really wanted to see us. And by her tipping the hat, the way I saw her face and the cleansiness of the white in the photo, the look on her face said it all, like she was saying goodbye. And I'm gonna put it to you guys like this. Look, anybody can take it with the however you're gonna take it. I mean, I don't expect everybody to believe me. Some people are gonna say, he's lying, and I don't believe that, or some people will, but I'm gonna put it to you like this, guys. I'll make it very clear. Both of my parents have passed already. Okay, both of my parents were cremated. Okay. I swear to you on my parents' remains, on their ashes, that what I just said to you right now is true. And it happened. It's not like an old, folk tale that, the story changes as it goes. No, this happened to me. In Hispanic culture, there's a folk tale that goes around, and I've heard it through like 7, 10 different times from different people, and they all have the same story about their cousin or their grandma that wanted to go to the dance, and they told her no, and she ended up going, and the devil showed up, and and when she looked down, he had a hoof and a chicken foot or whatnot. I've heard this. This is a if you will, in my opinion, it's an urban legend. It's everybody has that same story, but it happened to their family, not man. And I've heard it over and over. However, this situation of the lady in white, happened to me. I'm not scared. I don't. I really feel honored, if you will. It's I don't know. I don't know what would have happened had I taken a picture, which I didn't even do that because I wasn't about to do something like that. But not in that moment. But uh, there's just no other way to explain it. That's what happened in 2006 in the city of King City, California. I think they only have one mortuary there. I don't know the name of the address of it, but I know I mean, it's owned by somebody else now, but that funeral home is still there under new management or whatever. But yeah. So yeah, guys, that's the that's the podcast for today on Two Face Entertainment Podcast. Um, I wish I had an explanation for it, but I don't. I just I just can tell you that it did happen to me, and I'm still I I won't say I question it. I'm just more like, again, I'm honored, but it just feels like I wish I would have paid a little bit more close attention. But yet at the same time, I walked up to the picture and I saw it. I saw the stitching on the lace. I saw the cleansiness of the white. It wasn't just a regular white. It was a nice, bright, crisp, clean white that I still have yet to see ever again. But it was really something else. Like, when I look back at it now, I'm like, okay, you know what? And I can still see it in my mind. I can still see the picture. And it's kind of hard because I can't show it. And we live today in a world where, hey, if you don't have a picture, it didn't happen, kind of deal. And people want proof. I don't know how much more proof you want if I'm telling you that you know, I don't want to say swear, but I put that on my parents' ashes, on both of my parents' ashes, that that's what happened. Um, to leave on a brighter note, I just feel it's an honor, man. I mean, what else can I say? I'm really speechless about it, but that's what happened. With that, guys, until next time, this is Two Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, signing off.